Ezra chapter 6 provides a detailed account of the final stages in the rebuilding of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, a pivotal moment in the history of the Jewish people. It demonstrates how the sovereign hand of God worked through pagan rulers to accomplish his purposes for his people. Below is an extended explanation of the key sections of this chapter. King Darius' decree, as detailed in Ezra chapter 6, verses 1 to 12, begins with a remarkable scene involving a search for historical records. After the Jews resumed the temple's construction, local opposition arose once again. The opponents of the Jews, led by Tattenai, the governor of the region, wrote to King Darius asking him to investigate the legitimacy of the Jewish claim that King Cyrus had originally allowed the temple's reconstruction. In response, Darius orders a search of the royal archives to verify the matter. The records are not found in Babylon, but in the citadel of Ecbatana in the province of Media. There, a scroll is discovered that contains King Cyrus's decree. This decree, issued about 18 years earlier, confirmed that Cyrus had indeed authorized the rebuilding of the temple and even specified the dimensions and the materials to be used, particularly the use of costly stones and timbers. After discovering the decree, Darius sends his own order to Tattenai and his colleagues to let the work on the temple proceed without interference. He instructs that not only should they allow the construction to continue, but they should also support it financially. Darius commands that the royal treasury of the province, the Persian tax revenue, should be used to cover the expenses of the Jewish elders as they rebuild. Additionally, he orders that animals, wheat, wine, oil, and other provisions needed for the daily offerings in the temple should be supplied regularly so that the Jews could continue their sacrifices. Darius' decree also includes a dire warning for any who might try to hinder the work. He orders that if anyone attempts to alter the king's command or obstruct the construction of the temple, they would be severely punished. Specifically, they would be impaled on a beam from their own house, and their house would be destroyed. This harsh punishment was a typical decree in ancient Persia, showing the king's serious commitment to maintaining his decisions. Darius ends the decree by invoking the God of Israel, asking that he would destroy any king or people who tried to interfere with the rebuilding. Completion of the temple, as described in Ezra chapter 6, verses 13 to 15, follows the decree of Darius reaching Tattenai. He, along with the local officials, promptly obeys and facilitates the work. The elders of the Jews continue the construction with renewed vigor, bolstered by the support of the Persian government. They are also encouraged by the prophetic ministries of Haggai and Zechariah, whose messages urged the people to finish the work of rebuilding and reminded them of God's promises of restoration. The temple's construction is completed in the 6th year of King Darius's reign, approximately 516 BC, after about 4 years of renewed effort. This event marked the culmination of nearly 2 decades of interrupted work, starting with the decree of Cyrus in 538 BC. The completion of the temple is significant not only for the Jews, but also as a major achievement of post-exilic restoration. The house of God, which had been destroyed decades earlier by the Babylonians, was now fully rebuilt and ready for worship. Following the completion of the temple, the Jews celebrate its dedication with great joy. This dedication mirrors the dedication of the first temple under King Solomon, though on a much smaller scale. The sacrifices offered during the dedication reflect the joy and gratitude of the people. They offer 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and as a sin offering, 12 male goats, one for each tribe of Israel. The offering of 12 goats is especially symbolic because although the northern kingdom had been dispersed, the offering acknowledges the unity of all Israel in the eyes of God. The sacrifices serve as a sin offering, a means of atonement for the people, showing their desire for reconciliation with God and their hope that He would dwell among them once again in the rebuilt temple. The dedication also included the establishment of priests and Levites in their proper divisions and duties in accordance with the instructions in the law of Moses. This dedication event marks the renewal of Jewish religious life in Jerusalem after years of exile and spiritual decline. The temple was central to their identity as God's chosen people, and its restoration symbolized the reestablishment of the covenant relationship between God and Israel. Shortly after the temple's dedication, the people observed the Passover, one of the most important festivals in the Jewish calendar. This celebration commemorates the Israelites' deliverance from Egypt, and in this context, it also celebrates their deliverance from Babylonian captivity. The priests and Levites purify themselves, making sure that everything is done according to the law so they can properly officiate over the Passover rituals. This Passover is particularly significant because it involves not only the returned exiles, but also those who had remained in the land and had separated themselves from the impurities of the surrounding peoples. This likely refers to those non-Israelites who had joined themselves to the Jewish community, embracing the worship of the God of Israel. The joyful celebration of the Passover underscores the people's renewed commitment to God and His covenant. The chapter concludes by emphasizing that the joy of the people is rooted in the fact that God had turned the heart of the king of Assyria toward them, allowing them to complete the temple. This is a reminder of the sovereignty of God, who works through even pagan kings to fulfill His purposes. Ezra chapter 6 is a powerful testament to God's faithfulness, to His promises, and His ability to work through unlikely means to achieve His purposes. Despite opposition and years of delay, the temple is finally completed, restoring worship in Jerusalem. The chapter highlights the themes of divine providence, the importance of obedience to God's commands, and the joy that comes with restoration and reconciliation. The dedication of the temple and the celebration of Passover mark a new beginning for the Jewish people, signaling a renewed relationship with God after years of exile and hardship. Please like and subscribe to help us grow our spiritual channel. Thanks.